What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this TV. Today we are going to do another different type of video. We're going to be comparing two action figure lines and which line is better type of deal. Of course, on this side we have a mix of the Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series, and on this side we have the Disney Toy Box figures. So let's go ahead and dive into these. Alright, so here we have the two Spider-Man figures. Let's go ahead and compare. Just right off the bat, as you can tell, the Toy Box one is much more of a cartoonish style compared to the Marvel Legends one, which is, of course, more accurate to the movie. The Toy Box Spider-Man, if we take a look real quick, as you can see, has a very faded red on the figure. The blue is a brighter color and stands out a lot more compared to the contrast of the pale red, because this is the actual thing they use to mold the figure. Yeah, as you can tell, also, I'll just set up down. With the Marvel Legends one, you can tell that the red is much better, and there is much more web design. You can really see it throughout the whole entire body. With the black lines here, and of course the emblem. See, there's some tech lines throughout here, and so it just looks a lot better. It's gonna fall compared to the Toy Box one, which is just kind of molded on there. So comparatively, if you take a look at both of these, you can say which one you want. If you want more of a realistic style, or if you want more of a cartoonish style, that's ultimately up to your preference. But both of these have very excellent paint details on them. As you can see, that's the labeling though, which is kind of disappointing. But only problem, at least with mine, if you can tell, there's kind of like a weird slit in this eye, but that's about it. Then for the cartoon one, pretty much the same thing. I mean, there's no real difference outside of the fact that it's a different shade of red and a more cartoony style. Let's go ahead and compare articulation. We'll start off with the Marvel Legends version, because his head can go up that far, down that far, can look side to side. Not much of a tilt there, but it's not too shabby. His arms can lift out that far, can go all the way around. He has a butterfly joint, can flex in, flex out. Upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, as you can see. Only problem with this, at least for me, is just the pegs. As you can see, it kind of upsets the way it looks. It looks fine over on this side, then you flip it inward, and it's a little bit frustrating. Up, down, then there is, of course, that side to side that we all know and love. With that, he does have an ab crunch, so there's that. Forward, back, kick out that far, splits that far, upper thigh cut, double knee. He cannot kick his own butt, sorry Foosh. And then ankle pivot, up, or down rather, and then up. So yeah, and waist swivel. Yeah, I mean, for a Spidey figure, it's your standard articulation in a Spider-Man figure, especially with the butterfly joints. Wanted to highlight these because these are not on every figure. But go ahead and take a look at the Toy Box Spider-Man. He can look up that far. He can look down that far. He can, of course, go side to side. He has a little bit of tilt. Arm can go only about that far, which is a little less than 90. Can go all the way around. Has a single elbow, which goes to about 90, which is pretty decent. He does have an arm swivel, as you can tell. He also has a hinge here and a swivel here. So it's not bad, for sure. There's no ab crunch. He does have a waist swivel. He can kick out that far, much better than the Marvel Legends Spidey. He can kick back, not that much. Splits It's probably the greatest thing the toy box figures are at is the splits. They're just fantastic. Single knee, so no kicking your own butt. Then just a hinge up and down. There's no swivel or pivot, rather, on this figure, at least for this figure in particular. And because this is actually the original mold for Spider-Man, they actually changed it out and they added the whip hand. This one doesn't have that. So articulation-wise, point definitely goes to the Marvel Legends. But paint apps, I don't know. I'm going to give it to the Marvel or toy box figure. It just, to me, it looks a little cleaner than the Marvel Legends Spider-Man one. I don't know, it's just, there's a lot of shading going on, but there's a lot of bleeding as well. Now let's move on to accessories. For the Marvel Legends Spider-Man, he comes with 2 little wings that will plug into here, kind of give him that sprawled out look that we see from Homecoming. He also comes with an alternate head, because this was a part of the Homecoming 2-pack with the Iron Man figure. It's pretty decent. It's not a bad Tom Holland head. And then for the Toy Box Spider-Man, it's just a little suction cup accessory. Yeah, this is what the accessory is. You just pull it out, and it's decent. It's a kid's thing, so there's that. So, yeah, that's kind of the comparison between the two Marvel Legends and Marvel Toy Box figures. So far, I guess you could say the Marvel Legends is winning, or Hasbro technically is winning. Let's quickly compare the two Iron Mans, really. The Iron Man definitely wins when it comes to paint apps, because this one is just, it looks very cartoony, and the gold is, I'm not a huge fan of, and they updated it a lot better with the other one. This one has a diaphragm joint. Hold on, let me move the arm. So the diaphragm joint can look down, can look up, and of course can swivel and kind of give him a little bit of tilt. So, but he has no waist swivel. That's the only difference between the two Marvel Legends, because this is just basic Marvel Legends articulation, and the Spider-Man is kind of basic articulation for that. But yeah, there's nothing much to it. The head does look a lot more with the Iron Man, so you can get him into some cool flight poses, but that's about it. Now let's move on to, I think, the better comparison, which is the two Vader figures. These are the two Vaders, as you can see also height-wise. They are very different. This is more like 4 or 5 inch scale figures, obviously 6 inch. So there's that difference. Again, the cartoony style. For the toy box figure, it's just a very matte plastic cape. And same thing for down here, that's just matte plastic. The only thing that's really shiny is just the chrome helmet and then the eyes. That's the only thing that's really shiny on this figure. And then some joints here and there, but that's about it. It's not too much of anything exciting. Lightsaber, also as you can see here, it's somewhat painted nicely. It's decent, it's not great. And then for articulation, can look up that far, can look down that far. He has a waist swivel. Arms can look up that far. He can go all the way around, but it does kind of get in the effect of the cape. And then single hinge elbow, can rotate at that elbow as well. And then rotate here, and then a hinge, slight hinge. It's not too much of anything. Leg out, back not much. You actually have to put him back because of the cape. Because of this plastic piece here, you can't really get his leg up too far. Yeah, that's how far he kind of kicks, which is kind of disappointing. There's a rotation there, and then up, down. There is some ankle pivot in there. It's not too much, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the toy box figure. Say the best thing about this figure is just the cartoonish look. I think it works really, really well. It looks better than the Rebels one, that's for sure. So, And so for articulation, he doesn't really have any too much tilt, which that point goes to here, but tilt or side to side, he has no tilt whatsoever. His arms do go all the way out though, and they can go rotate around. Single hinge and also rotation there, very similar to the other figure, and he does have a better hinge and then swivel here. His lightsaber is also much more detailed, looks a lot better, more screen accurate. So there's that. He can kick out, back, splits also is good. The splits on this Vader is kind of hard because he already is covered by this piece. This piece gets in the way of a lot of articulation for this guy. And then he has an upper thigh cut, double knee. Wait, hold up. That's not happening. Anyway, but no rotation there. Down, up, pivot. And then he does have a small side to side as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So overall, between these two figures, and also accessories just in general, I don't know, they're kind of equal, I guess you could say. The Vader here, of course, has a double jointed knee, so that kind of gives him an edge, but he has better head articulation. So, alright, so closing thoughts. Both lines I think are really, really cool. One thing about the Toy Box line that I absolutely love is that they all have the same style. It's the same with like any Disney figures and Pixar figures. They're all the same. I mean, you could do something like this with these figures, but they don't have the same cartoonish style that allows these to fit a little bit better together. I mean, it's pretty good. Accessories, definitely Marvel. The ones I knocked down, Hasbro definitely wins when it comes to accessories. But when it comes to, I think, paint blemishes, I've seen a lot more paint blemishes on Hasbro's part than I have with Toy Box. Price point, these are anywhere from $12.99 to $18.99, but $18.99 is like a 2-pack. And also another cool thing, they have vehicles. Like this guy has like a SpiderMan vehicle that he could come with. There's also like a motorcycle. And there's just a whole bunch of different vehicles. These don't. Personally, based off price point and based off just compatibility, I like the Toy Box line a little bit more. Doesn't mean I won't collect Black Series and Marvel Legends from time to time, but this line is much better, in my opinion. It has a mix of just everything I need, which is Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. Well, this, with Hasbro, is just Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends. So, but yeah, anyway, that's it. That's my thoughts on just these two lines. Price points, affordability, you could go here, but accessories, realism, and articulation, you could go here. That's about it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for upload videos on Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and the parks, and so much more. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.